Yeah, just make sure everything's all good.
All
How are
right.
you?
Good. How are you?
All right. Let's spend time. Feels gonna be awkward in this one. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Really?
I
Uh huh. How's your day
gotcha.
going?
It's been going pretty good. It's kind of just starting. I wake up really late in the afternoon.
Oh, oh yeah, me too. I woke up pretty late as well.
Yeah. I gotcha. All right.
All right. Give me just a second. Sorry.
Of course.
But too much of your time. It's a lot of questions for it, but hopefully we can do a part two and three next time if that's okay.
Okay.
Which is scheduled so I can let me know.
All right. I gotcha.
So, question was, how did you get your start?
I actually, so growing up, I was not a theater person. I wasn't really into acting and stuff. I wanted to be, but I was an athlete. So most of my life was around sports and everything. And once we got into the pandemic, I realized that, remote recording was something that I could do because I wasn't aware that that was a thing in general. So, um, I had always wanted to do theater stuff, but because I was so busy with sports, I was never able to. So, I guess the only really endeavor into acting that I had before I got into voice acting was being a character performer for like kids' parties and stuff. So I'd dress up as a princess, dance, sing, and just talk to the kids. And so that was really my first step into acting, but it was all improv. I wasn't given a script or anything. It was, you know the characters, so you just act like them, as long as you know the story, that's pretty much all you kind of needed to know and just how to interact with kids and kind of deflect questions. So once I got into voice acting, it was kind of a whole different ball game because again, you're given scripts, you have to be able to read something in a convincing manner that isn't just, that doesn't sound like robotic or anything. So getting into it was definitely a change, but it's something that I was excited to be able to pursue, especially from home and knowing that I can do it from home instead of having to, go to a studio all the time.
Oh, oh, cool. And you had fun with the kids?
Yeah, yeah. There were definitely some when I was doing character performing stuff, there were definitely some questions and stuff that I had to deflect. Like one of them, I was dressed up as Rapunzel from Tangled, and my eyes are blue, and I wasn't wearing contacts or anything that day. And a little kid said, why are your eyes blue? I thought they were green. And I'm like, oh, wow, they really paid attention to that. So I told them, oh, it's just the lighting in here because we were inside. I said, when I go outside, though, my eyes turn green. And they're like, my eyes change colors too. And I was like, perfect. I'm like, I'm glad they bought that because I was like, oh, I don't know how to go about this. But yeah, working with the kids was so much fun. They always had the craziest things to say. They were always so sweet. It was a great time.
That's so cool. I like that. Do the
Yeah.
kids want you to carry them? Like,
N- no,
like your arms?
actually no, surprisingly. I it's really, if anything, if you're like carrying a child, it's usually the parents are like giving you a baby and they're just like, hold my baby. And I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't really prepared for this, but sure.
Okay. Question two is, did you have any formal training?
I did not really. So again, like before getting into voice acting, it was really just the improvise improv. We'll just call it improv. My brain doesn't want to come up with the words. It was just a lot of improv, and I didn't really take any classes or anything like that. The only thing that I would say that I had some kind of training in would be in band because I used to play the flute and like in high school and middle school and stuff. So I didn't have any acting experience, but that was, I guess, performance type of experience. And once I got into voice acting and doing a bunch of auditions, with like small projects and stuff, then I realized maybe I should start getting into doing some classes and stuff and maybe learn things that I didn't know before because I'm a very observational person. I will watch things and kind of consume the media and then kind of put back out the type of stuff that I see But when I got into actually doing like the training and everything, um, it helped me a lot to understand things about myself as well as, maybe other methods that people have thought of that I just hadn't thought of yet or may never have thought of on my own. So it was really helpful when I finally did get into it and it did help, but from the beginning, I was just going off of what I've seen other people do.
I love that too. Question three: what was your first voice acting experience like?
My first voice acting experience. So the very first thing that I remember auditioning for was for it was a fan animation or something of Danganronpa, and I auditioned as Junko Enoshima. Did not get it, which is fine. But that was the first one that I actually remember doing. But the first thing that I remember booking was some kind of fighter pilot, like jet fighter pilot character, and I had like one line, and it was some 3D animation thing. And I mean, I was very excited to get it and to like see it in action. But looking back on that, I'm like, wow, we've come quite a ways from there. Yeah.
Also, you didn't get the part of Junusuke.
Yeah.
Junusuke from. So, question four: do you have any stories about hell gigs or bad auditions?
Ooh. So I wouldn't say I try to put a positive spin on as much stuff as I can because this industry as a whole already can be very um negative in the aspects of kind of how you take it, I guess. You can get rejected. Like some people don't like to use the word rejected when you don't get an audition or when you don't get a role. But it's like you get rejected a lot, you see other people succeeding all the time. So I would say really the only times that I've had like negative experiences are really when I get like a callback for a role that I really wanted and then just didn't get it. And it just kind of in the moment you're like, "Oh, what could I have done better?" But something that kind of taught me to kind of turn that around a little bit was something that happened very early on in my career because I've been doing this for about 3 years now, which is significantly shorter compared to a lot of my peers. Um, but one of the things that happened was I auditioned for a character, I got a call back, and I ended up not getting the role. But the reason that they didn't give me the role, or one of the reasons at least, was because there were two main characters. They had already cast the one main character, and they were casting for the other one that I got the call back for. When they cast that character, they said that when I auditioned and I got the call back, my voice was too similar to the other person's voice that was playing the other main character, which kind of opened up a little bit of, a thought process for me that it's like it wasn't even that they didn't like me. They liked me. I just sounded too much like the other person. So it's like it would have sounded like two of the same people basically talking to each other, like one person essentially talking to themselves. So that kind of helped me like turn around that whole mindset of it's not because they don't like you, it's because for some reason or another you just didn't fit. Is it still a little bit of a sting? Absolutely. I'm not going to say that it doesn't hurt a little bit, but um again, like that's the whole reality of it. So I guess again, the things are just more of when you're so close and then they're like, "Yeah, sorry, you just didn't get it." It's like, "Oh, come on."
You try, and that was matters. And then hopefully you get something else, and they call you back. Hey, we got you for another role.
Yeah, and that does happen, and it feels really good because they remember you. It's also leaving the situation with a positive attitude too, because of course, if somebody doesn't cast you and you're like, well, screw you and all that, it's like obviously they're not going to want to work with you. So it's keeping that positive aspect and being like, oh, thank you for working with me on this and everything. So yeah.
Cool. Question five: do you have any roles that you're drawn to or really taking on?
Ooh. So, of the ones that I have done, I would say Koshitan from my dear friend Nokotan is always going to have a very, very special place in my heart. Just because it was the first anime thing I ever got to do, and she just she's a lot like me, especially because most of the time when I'm was acting as her, it was a lot of just my voice, but just played up a little bit more. And she really lives in that world of everything around her is going to chaos, and she's just like, what is happening? And I feel that every day, we look at social media, the news and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but whatever's happening is crazy, and I'm just trying to do what I can. So
Oh,
yeah, she was really just a fun character to voice too, because I didn't grow up watching anime as much as a lot of other people did. I was more of a Pokemon every once in a while type of person. And then other than that, it was like cartoons. So it'd be like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, things like that. And so I started watching anime in about 2020 when COVID hit and everyone had so much more time on their hands from not having to, not being able to go back to work and everything. I started watching a lot of anime, and I was just so inspired by all of the different, voice actresses that I see, especially ones like Killua's voice actress, Christina V from Hunter x Hunter, and Gon from Hunter x Hunter, who is Erica Mendez. Hearing them voice these little boys and stuff, I was like, no way. I was so shocked because I never really thought about it because I hadn't really gotten into voice acting at all at the time. So hearing that and seeing that was something I could do was really cool. And then on top of that, hearing them do like these crazy screams and stuff, I was like, that would be so fun to be a part of. And I feel like koshtian and my dear friend Nokotan kind of checked all these little boxes off for me. It was being like a main character in an anime is always like being able to say that is the coolest feeling ever, just to be able to be like, I got to be the main character of something. If it never happens again, I at least did it once, and that's really cool. But she, is the main character, and she goes through all of the emotions throughout the entire show. She goes basically Super Saiyan the one time. She yells a lot. She has moments of embarrassment and shyness. There's an episode where she thinks that someone wrote a love letter to her, and she's like, "Oh, to me? I don't think it's for me." And she's very competitive, which is something that I grew up with being an athlete. I was always very competitive. Um, she has moments of, just happiness, joyfulness. She has sadness. And then she has her like kind of idol persona in some of the episodes. She's always secretly wanted to be an idol. And I think that's so funny because I think idols are really cool. So being able to like pretend to be one for a second was so fun, and just doing the like high pitched voice for her. So just being able to check off all that stuff and do effort noises. So like there was an episode where Nokotan's antlers got too long, and then Koshtan had to use like a giant it was like an axe or a knife or something, and was had to like go like and cut him off. Just being able to do that, like there were so many things that just met all of the expectations I've ever wanted in an anime character, and to do it all in one, it was a dream. So fun. I love it.
number six. What was your most challenging role?
Ooh, my most challenging role. Hmm. I would say there aren't too many that have challenged me in like an uncomfortable way where I feel out of my zone, I guess, out of my comfort zone. But I would say the most challenging ones for me are probably the ones that you're trying to evoke a strong reaction from the viewer of usually like sadness. So when I get to play characters, like there's one in a video game, it's like a point and click adventure called Alex Hill. I got to voice a character named Lauren, and in that, she does something on accident, and she goes into this whole basically panic attack, and she's crying. She's, has this guilt just all over her, and to have to portray that in a believable way can sometimes be challenging because you need to really kind of connect with yourself and think, okay, if I'm panicking or if I'm guilty or if I'm crying, how would I do it, and make it seem believable? Because sometimes, and it depends on like the anime and stuff, but a lot of the time, like anime acting is a little bit different than like video game acting. Like sometimes anime acting is like more over the top and everything, a little bit more reactive and like there's just a bunch of reactions, again, depending on what it is. But video games, for ones that have like a strong storyline, it can really like go deep into those things where it's very again, you're trying to make the viewer or the player or whoever feel that sadness, feel that emotion, so that you're kind of like sucking them into it. But again, you got to be believable. So anything that's like super emotional, I think are really the most challenging things for me, because I'm a very, if you couldn't tell, I'm a little like, I'm always like smiling and stuff. I'm a little bubbly and all that. So having to like bring it down into a very serious moment can sometimes take a moment for me to switch into that, rather than me just being like, oh, this is just how I am all the time.
Number 7 is, do you have any advice for anyone who would like to try voice acting?
Yes. Oh my goodness. There's so much advice I could give. Number one thing, it's going to sound cheesy and everyone says it, just go for it, because you will not start unless you start. So, everyone's like, oh, but what if this, what if that, what if my setup isn't good enough? What if this, if that just means practicing to yourself or just like speaking into a microphone and recording stuff, not necessarily even auditioning or anything, just getting used to your voice, getting used to your emotions, what you can do with your voice. And just another thing is don't focus so much on like impressions, because impressions, of course, everyone's like, well, I could do an impression of this character or this character. That's wonderful. But a lot of the things that you're going to book is going to be your voice. Whether it's you're doing character work or you're doing things like commercials or you're doing audiobooks and stuff, they're looking for you. They're looking for what you can bring to the table, not what you can sound like when you sound like other people. So definitely learn your voice, get comfortable with it. And then from there, just audition, 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 because I've seen a few times now where people have posted on social media and said, I just did 10 auditions and I didn't book any of them. Is this even something I should do? Am I fit for voice acting? And when I looked back about like 2 years ago or so, when I look back at my first auditions, I counted how many auditions I did before I got a role, and it was 60. And from then on, it's, last year I did 700 auditions last year and booked 60 of them. So you're looking at, and that's honestly a very good ratio in most aspects too. In voice acting, booking 60 out of 700 auditions is actually pretty good. People might not think it because it's like, really, that's it? That's it, And so you're going to see a lot of the no's and stuff, but when you do get a yes, you're going to feel so good because you work towards it. You feel accomplished about it. And even again, I still get a bunch of no's now, and it still can, you can still kind of take a hit to your confidence and stuff, but you just got to remember you did all of this stuff to get to where you are, and you got to keep going in order to succeed and get more things. You can't stop, because then nothing will ever come from it if you just don't do it anymore.
That's a I like. Number 8, do you watch anime regularly? If so, do you have a favorite show?
Do I watch anime regularly? Yes. My favorite show right now is One Piece. I would also have to say Hunter x Hunter was my original one. I've got like tattoos and stuff of Hunter. I've got the Hunter Association there. Yeah. So that was my Hunter x Hunter was my first anime that I fell in love with, which was really funny with that one because I hadn't really gotten into anime too much. I think I watched Sword Art Online back in high school or something, but I wasn't really aware that like anime was kind of its own thing. I wasn't aware that it was its like kind of own genre. So when I did start watching in 2020 and I started watching Hunter x Hunter, I was like, wow, that was just really good. And it's 148 episodes. And I just kind of blew through those. And then when I went to go watch my next anime that I ended up watching, it was 12 episodes. And I was like, that's really short. I thought all anime were like 100 plus episodes, but it turns out they're mostly like 12 to 24. So my first anime ever being like almost 150 episodes, uh I was kind of shocked to see that everything was like a lot less. And then I when I got into the world of One Piece, everything just kind of changed there because I was a heavy hater of One Piece before I started watching it. I said, I'm never gonna watch this. It's 1,000 episodes. The characters look dumb. Sanji as a character, I looked at him and was like, his eyebrow is stupid. Like, why would he have a curly eyebrow? That's like I was just so against this show that I knew nothing about, absolutely nothing. And then one day I decided to hate watch it. Hate watch it. I was like, okay, let me sit down. Let me see what this is all about. This is probably just going to be garbage. No, I start watching it and then I'm consumed by it. And I was working on a cosplay at the time. I was sewing one for a convention when I was watching this. So like I was in my living room and I had the TV playing One Piece and then I had my cosplay that I was like just working on. So I was just watching it, fell in love with it. Sanji is now my absolute favorite character of like any anime ever, even though I completely, you know, was just making fun of his character design for the longest time. And now I'm in like episode 900 and something. I really need to catch up, but that's been consuming me a lot lately. Before I got into that, though, I was kind of just watching whatever. I'm very down for watching slice of life, shonen. I'm trying to think, just anything. Like I really liked Tokyo Ghoul. I liked Yuri on Ice. I liked Toradora. Like I was just kind of all over the spectrum of different anime because I'm just like, if it's good, it's good. I don't really care what what genre it is.
You watch any animes that are sub but haven't been dubbed by any chance?
I have. I've watched, there's one that's called Heaven's Design Team, which is not as well known. It's literally they're in heaven and they are like talking to God and making animals and stuff. And it's educational too, but it's really cute. I did watch that. And I also watched Banana Fish. Banana Fish, for some reason, still hasn't been dubbed, and I would love for it to be dubbed. But I watched that one and cried my eyes out. That one hurt a lot. But my friend was like, "You have to watch it." And I was like, "Is it dubbed?" They're like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, if I really should watch it, then let's watch it subbed." And I was a wreck.
Have you ever reborn Master Blade?
I have
That's
not.
you have to see this one. It's really good though.
Is it?
Yeah, oh, yeah. So let me put the opening. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's. I have a bunch of videos I like to show on that time.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'm sure the volume is up. You can see it right here.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. This is the opening.
Hmm.
Is it good, Mitch?
Yeah.
Okay. This one's a really bad one.
Yeah, it does look good.
Oh, it's about this one came like 2 years ago, and it's really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they did the manga and light novel. so far.
Ah, I gotcha. I gotcha.
It's a really interesting one. It's basically the guy who was a hero who dies reincarnated by the goddess he's known, and is reincarnated as a girl.
Ah,
So,
I gotcha.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You better think this connect redive.
I've not seen that. There's so many I still haven't seen yet. That's one of them.
We gotta see Prince Canoe. It's like Konosuba, but more like chill. But it's really good. This one.
Okay, yeah,
They
absolutely.
did by Crunchyroll, but then they decided to take it out. It was really
Oh.
good. It was real good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did like a few characters of a dub one, but another game of these from this
Okay.
anime. But it's really good.
I gotcha.
So it's like this one. This is like from the games. But it's really sick.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Mm. Yeah, I don't know what the game was, but yeah, the graphics were really good on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it did only the two scene, but it should be a good game because it's like 23, but yeah, really
Mm-hmm.
good.
I gotcha.
Alright. It's really worth to check it out. Trust me, it's a good one.
Yeah.
So let me see. Okay. And have you heard of the Demon Slayer movie that's out already?
I've heard about it. I have not watched it. I've seen the first two seasons of Demon Slayer and I watched the Infinity Train movie, but I have not seen the new movie yet.
Yeah, that one I heard beat The Conjuring, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And it was surprised to see Channing Tatum was in that one.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I believe his daughter is really into anime and into
Oh
Demon
yeah,
Slayer, so that's cool.
yeah. Did you see that one about Entertainment Tonight? They did interviews with him and his daughter.
Hmm.
So take a minute. I'll just show it right now. Is that okay?
Okay.
I know. I'll make sure you're able to see you.
Yep. Yeah, that's really cute that that he was able to be in that too.
Huh?
I
Yeah.
said, yeah, it's really cute.
There's a touchy moment right there.
Hmm.
Like a question: is there any anime character, past or present, that you wish you could play?
Oh, there's one present that I that just came out for the dub, and it's for the anime Rooster Fighter. And I saw that they just came out with the dub cast for it, which I really couldn't be happier for, honestly, with the people that got picked. Um, but there's a chicken named Elizabeth that's in it, and that's played by Lucy Christian, who is like Nami in One Piece and Ochako in My Hero Academia. And then there's I think the character's name is Pio, and I can't remember who voices that little character, but it's like a little baby chick, and either of those would have been like really cool to voice, but no, I'm really glad with the people that they picked for it. But if there were another character that I would like to pick, it would be from One Piece, a transponder snail, because those there's just so many of them in the world that, it's like anybody could be a transponder snail. It doesn't have to be like just one person voices all of them. So that would probably be the other like big one.
So, question: who are some of your favorite people to work with?
Oh gosh, my favorite people to work with. Um, One of them is definitely another voice actor, Josh Portillo. He is wonderful. He's enthusiastic about what he does. And he's overall really good at what he does too. Same with the other voice actor, Nathan Wagner. He is just so enthusiastic. Like he has this energy that just flows off of him where he's just very excited about things all the time. And he's, again, another very talented person. Um, both of them, I love working with them. I'm trying to think because there's a whole list of people that have just been so wonderful. I'm trying to think if there were other off the top of my head. I mean, just the cast of Nokotan, like everyone has been really sweet. It I haven't been able to meet all of them in person yet, but the ones that I have met, like Donald Guzzi and Bay Doxy and everything, everybody has been so sweet and wonderful, and they're all very talented people. So being able to work with them was just really cool. Um, and I guess another thing too, with like being fully remote, we don't we don't see each other in person, very often and stuff. Like I know at studios and stuff, you see people when you're like walking into the studio, walking out. So we don't really get that, in-person camaraderie as much, but we do see each other in like a lot of projects, just the people that you've kind of grown in the industry with, you start seeing them in projects with you. Maybe there'll be some table reads or like rehearsals and stuff that you'll see them in and all that. So, but yeah, those people that I mentioned, they've all been so wonderful and they've been again, they're all talented and they're all really nice. So, not much more you can ask for.
Awesome. Do you have any advice for people to prepare for auditions?
Yeah, so one thing that I think helped me a lot was when I started taking classes, a lot of people hit on the fact that you need to set up a scene in your head when you are going to audition for characters. It can be so some auditions are very detailed, some of them are not detailed at all. So the ones that are very detailed, they might even lay out the setting, the timing, or like the time, like the era or whatever, the year. Some of them tell you exactly who the character you're auditioning for is talking to, their relationship with them, who their favorite artist is, what their dog's name is. You can get all this information on an audition, but then there are ones that don't tell you really anything. You get maybe a picture of the character, so you may or may not see what they look like, a general description of their age and their tone of voice, and that's it. So when you go to read your lines, especially if you're not given a lot of information, you want to set up a scenario so that you can make it realistic. You can make it the listener feel like you already have this role, you already have this character, and you know the whole scenario of this line, when in reality, you were given like one sentence and now you got to figure out what to do with it. So, like, if you're saying like your character is like, hey, my name is Roo, you know, who are they talking to? Are they talking to a friend? Are they talking to a family member that they've maybe never met before? Are they talking to a stranger? Is it an adult, a kid? So just thinking of who you're talking to and where you're at helps a lot with putting together a cohesive audition to make it sound like you were given all the information when in reality, you might not have gotten anything.
All right. Question 12. Do you have any advice for people to boost their name and start getting roles?
I would say a lot of getting to this kind of point is being a pleasant person to work with. Posting on social media, unfortunately, that is kind of just how it is now. I wouldn't say it's, a one-way thing for everybody because some people don't have any social media and they grow in the industry because they're networking with people and all that. But social media doesn't necessarily hurt to have if you are keeping it as like a professional profile. So social media, um, again, networking with people, you know, and building relationships with them, that is one of the most important things in my opinion, just because you first of all want to establish a good relationship with people so you're on good terms with them, but then you also just want to, you know, give a good impression of yourself. So if I'm working with somebody and they are, you know, and I'm just rude to them and stuff, they're not going to want me on their project. They're not going to want to recommend me to anybody. But you also don't want to just use people either, because that's also just kind of a slimy thing to do if you're like, oh, I'm going to get to know this person just to get this role or something and then never talk to them again. And you don't have to be best friends with everybody that you network with, but you need to have, you know, a mutual respect with them. You know, you shouldn't see yourself as like higher up than somebody else or whatever. Like you should be on a respectful, even playing field with the people that you are connecting with. You shouldn't see them as just another stepping stone to get to where you want or whatever. So again, you don't need to talk to people all the time. Like you don't have to talk to the same people every single day, but you know, just the conversations you do have with them, be pleasant and be yourself, you know, because there are definitely times when people will, you know, fake how they are, and then you get to know them and you're like, oh, that's not at all what I expected. So um and then again, for just getting yourself out there more, auditioning isn't just so that you can try to get that role. Auditioning is so that the creators can hear you as well. Because, like we said at the beginning of this, there are some times when you audition for a character and you don't get that character, but they'll come back and be like, hey, I've got something else for you. So just getting your voice out there really helps. You know, posting stuff on social media might help a little bit. I can't guarantee that there's, you know, always going to be success from that, and having a LinkedIn. I know people are like, that's for businesses, that's for, you know, professional. We are a business. As voice actors, we are a business and we are professionals. So it might seem weird because we're not like in an office setting and, you know, we're trying to network with the CEO of our company or something. But having that shows like a professional portfolio of you, and you'll get other professionals who might be working in industries that don't go on social media. You know, they aren't checking Instagram or Twitter all the time, be like, oh, what's this voice actor doing? Instead, they're like, I need a voice actor. Let me go on LinkedIn and find people who are established and show that they have, you know, a good reputation, a good resume, all that stuff. So LinkedIn, I think, is a step that you shouldn't skip, and you should set up and make it look all professional and nice.
All right. Question 13 were questions to us voice actor. Can you mimic the sound of a rusty hinge?
Of a rusty hinge. All right. Um, I think that's about the best I can do. It's a good one. Good question.
Yeah, the questions are 103, so I wanted to do a separate video.
I gotcha.
Too much. Uh-huh. Question: can you do a voice that sounds like a potato trying to sing opera?
Like a who singing opera?
I guess.
Oh, I don't know.
It's okay. If not, it's okay.
I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know if I can.
It's all right. You're from Google, so it's okay. We're gonna skip. So 15. What's the most unusual thing you've been asked to voice?
Hmm. You said unusual thing?
Yeah.
Um, I don't really, off the top of my head, I'm not sure exactly what unusual. I mean, there's definitely been lines and stuff that I've said that are definitely unusual. One of the things recently is I voiced a few characters in Gintama, and it's a very interesting show. It's got a lot of interesting dialogue. So I would have to say that probably my character Kuriko, she's on a date with one of the main characters, and he's trying to make her not like him and stuff because he's not interested in her, but she's super interested in him. So he takes her to an uncensored movie, which is a very adult rated movie. And they come out and she's like, were you not satisfied? Would it be better if there were less bubbles? Maybe more tentacle play? Like that. I think just her so casually being concerned about him not enjoying it and being like, she even said like, she said, we even got to see all the uncensored parts, like she was so excited. And it's so funny to just have this like innocent girl just be like, we got to see all the, the X-rated whatever. So probably that.
Well, you should give her a chance, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, but to
She
see it
seems
like,
like a nice girl.
yeah, like you're watching like a hentai or something.
Yeah, exactly. And they really thought that was gonna make him not, or make her not like him, but she's just like, I'll try whatever.
That's a question 16. If you had to voice a character who was a silent pile of dust, how would you approach it?
Oh gosh. Uh, I don't know. Um, I don't know. Gosh, you're putting me on the spot with these. I'm trying to think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're
It
okay.
was,
You're okay. I'm like trying to think if I repeat what it was again.
it was a silent pile of dust. How would you approach
Okay.
it?
A sentient pile of dust. Um, I mean, if they're sentient and actually talking, I'd probably give them one of the New York like, "Hey, watch where you're walking. I'm sitting here," or "Watch where you're sweeping."
So, yeah. Now, time for question 17. Hypothetical physical conditions. If your character had a persistent high-pitched squeeze in the voice due to a rare medical condition, how would you incorporate that into their speech patterns?
Hmm. Like they just had like a high pitched like just
Yeah.
okay. I don't know, because there are some characters that just have that like high pitched noise to them all the time. Um, but usually those characters are like the cutesy, like really cute characters that like just speak really high and stuff like that. So it'd probably just be I don't know, just like a cutesy little girl character, probably.
Okay, that's fine. Question: how would you voice a character who has a permanent sneeze?
A permanent sneeze.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like after a while, with the development of a character like that, they would go from like apologizing all the time, like they'd be talking and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, the other day sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So the other day I was just okay, sorry, but then later they would just kind of get used to it and they're like, I'm just gonna sneeze and it's not gonna be a problem. So probably stop apologizing after a while."
All right. Number 19. How would you voice a character who has speak through a mouthful of marshmallows?
Oh, a mouth. Oh, that I would usually just puff up my cheeks and just be like, I gotta talk to this little tiny face in my mouth because my mouth is just full of all kinds of marshmallows."
That's a good one. I'm glad I'm making you laugh. But I forgot to say in the beginning when I mentioned you. If I start crying tears, let it happen because that's what you're supposed to do with the fans are. You're supposed to make them laugh and cry
Mm-hmm.
and cry. That's what you're supposed
Yeah.
to be doing. And you
Yes.
don't apologize. Oh, it's too bad. Well, you're the one who do it.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to apologize. Nope. What happens when you voice actor? You're like, that's what I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm? Let's see. Oh, 20. What's the most surprising thing you've learned about yourself through voice acting?
I've learned that I can turn on and off the emotions for acting very quickly. Some people need a little bit more time to like get into a mindset and then to come back out of it. But I will have, for example, with that Alex Hill character that I talked about, Lauren, when I did the directed session for that, I had to again do this character that's devastated and full of guilt, and I'd be like, the character would say something like, "I didn't mean to do it. I'm so sorry." And then immediately after that, I'd be like, "Was that good?" And they're like, "That's so weird that you just went from like being sad and like guilty and all that to just being like, all right, was that good?" So I think it was just the fact that I could just kind of turn that on and turn it off real quickly. That's not something I thought I could do.
All right. Question 21. If you could use one sound effect for the rest of your career, what would it be?
One sound effect?
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, the really common, they call it the vine boom, where it's just like boom, probably that noise. So anything that happens, it'd just be that noise.
Um, Question 2. If you ever accidentally used a voice in public that wasn't meant for the situation?
Not necessarily, well, sometimes when I'm mishearing people, I'll accidentally do that. So they'll tell me something and I don't quite catch what they say. And so I'll just kind of be like, yeah, okay, yeah. And then they're just telling me the most devastating story of their life. And I'm like, oh, that's what oh, I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't trying to be like happy about that. My bad. So that it happens more often than not because sometimes I just don't understand people the first time and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. So now I just ask, I'm like, can you repeat that just so I can make sure I heard it right?
All right. Question 23. Have you read a recipe for a peanut butter and pickle sandwich in a style of a Shakespearean actor?
I have not yet, but I could. I could
Oh,
always do that. I don't think I've ever read a peanut butter and pickle sandwich a recipe in general, so I'd have to find that first.
this just came up with. 24. Imagine you're a sentient toaster and you're just discovered you can suddenly speak. How would you react to that realization?
Um, hmm. I'd probably be like, oh, toast done. Oh, wow. Oh, I can talk? You know, it has been pretty hot in here, so maybe I should tell somebody about that. Let them know that's a little toasty in here.
All right. Question 25. Describe your favorite type of cheese using only the sound of a kazoo.
Of cheese?
Yeah.
Ah, with the sound of a kazoo, it'd probably be like because I don't like cheese.
Now, this is something that came up. Fan question. 26. If you or your, let's say, Koshitan had the Jedi Force, what would you do on the light side?
Sorry, could you repeat that one?
So if your character Koshitan
Hmm.
had the Jedi Force, what would you do in the light side?
I don't know.
If you,
I, I don't know. I really don't. I mean, hmm. Do
you
you
would
think
use the
Coach?
Force to your Koshitan.
I
Oh,
mean, I feel like she would be. I feel like she'd let whatever she does get to her head. She would have some kind of weird power trip. So I think we need to keep like the force away from her because I feel like she might go a little in her own head about it.
I was hoping she was using it for good. But what was it in the Dark Force? Do you think she still use it?
Yeah, I think she would because I really think that she has like this very nice heart of gold and everything. She likes to do the right thing, but I do think if she had the power, she would use it no matter which side she's on.
Okay. Right. It's not fair. 27. If you had three wishes, what would it be?
Oh goodness, three wishes. Um, I think my first wish would be to have the best sounding audio quality ever, where I never have to upgrade ever again or spend money on voice acting ever again, where I could just have the best of the best ever. I never have to do that again. I would trying to think of two other ones. Cause I don't know. I've got it pretty in my life. I think I've got it pretty good. But if I hmm, I feel like it'd have to be like food related or something for my second wish. Um, I guess just have all any food that I'm craving at the moment, have it available to me. So even if it's like the most obscure thing, just having it like pop up or something where I can just have it immediately. Because there are just times when I'm like, oh man, I really want this thing, but sometimes the store is like already closed and you're like, man, I gotta wait until tomorrow. So probably that for the second wish. And the third wish with the food that I eat, I don't gain weight. I just keep where I'm at and be able to eat all of the food that I wish and never have to worry about or health, not have to worry about the health either. Just be able to eat whatever. It could be gross sugary stuff or it could be like healthy stuff, but no matter what I eat, I'm still in great health and all that.
Love that. Question 20. If you or Koshtian had any super, what could it be?
Any superpower?
Yeah.
Huh. I think Koshitan would want to have the power of probably like time manipulation. She'd probably have that because there are so many times when Nokotan is doing something that, like, in the very first episode, she walks through the door with her antlers and stuff, and there's just pieces of debris flying everywhere. I feel like she'd want to, like, go back in time and somehow, like, meet her out there and, like, help her so that she turns sideways so she's not destroying everything. Um, and then if I were to have a power, I'd probably just want the power of flight, honestly, because traveling can be expensive. I'm not much of a traveler, but I'd rather just be able to or teleporting, honestly. I think teleporting would be the best thing to just instantly go from one place to another. I think that's the one.
Question 20. Oh, please, 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 will there ever be a second of my dear friend Nokotan?
I wish I could tell you. I wish I knew. There's plenty of manga that's still out though. The creator is still creating chapters and everything, so there's still plenty of content. I just don't know if they're gonna make it into an anime. I know that Japan really likes My Dear Friend Nokotan, which um they're a little bit more into it than I would say in the US because there's a lot of Japanese references and stuff that, you know, maybe we don't understand as much just because there's like play on words and all that. So I think because they still do like events and stuff in Japan, they'll do like cafes where they have the character or like drinks inspired by the characters and stuff. They'll do like My Dear Friend Nokotan Cafe. They do events and stuff. So maybe if they keep the hype up over there, maybe we'll eventually get a season two. I would love to do a season two.
Yeah. Like, how many seasons do you think they would really do?
If they were to do, I think it would maybe like a 3 season. I think
Just
I think just three. Because they did put a lot, well, it depends on how far they go with the manga. But I think they would maybe do 3 seasons of it because they fit a lot of stuff into each episode. So, even like in some of the episodes, they even had stuff that wasn't in the manga that they added into it. So, yeah, I'd say maybe a good 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
Pikinoko wanted 10 seasons.
Really? I mean,
Yeah,
I would want as many as we could get, but I think if they were to realistically make it, it'd probably be 3 to 4.
that's what she told me the first time. Now, question 30. Well, shoot. If you or Koshin had Sailor Moon powers, what would you use them for?
I've actually, this is such a horrible thing to admit. I've never watched Sailor Moon before. I
Oh,
think I guess the only power that I would know of is being able to transform and do a magical girl transformation because that's the only thing I really know. But just being able to like transform into a cute outfit, I think would be really fun.
I have to see Sailor Moon because that's the old one. That was
Hmm.
one of the ones I watched when I was 6 years old, and I remember that from when they did it with the Canadian dub a long time ago.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that one I still love.
Hmm.
Because back then, those days, the anime back then was real more positive than those
Yeah.
times.
Hmm.
But right now, it's a little bit controversial. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I asked Trinidad, did you ever see Redo Killer? And that one was like one of the worst. I still saw it, and it was really one of the worst.
I have not seen that one. I'm telling you, there's a lot that I still need to watch.
You watch The Goblin Slayer?
Oh, I haven't seen that one either.
Yes.
I know, I know.
I mean, it's just things. But still, you never know. I still love anime.
Hmm.
So, question 31. Could you tell me between a voice acting interview in a convention versus a YouTube?
What was the question again?
So, the question has to do with a voice interview in a convention versus a YouTube interview.
Oh, like how different it is?
Yeah.
For when you're at a convention, there's a little bit depending on how they go about it. There's a little bit more on the line as far as like how nervous you might get because you are like in front of who knows how many people, especially if it's an interview that's like a panel, like you're on the stage and stuff and you've got 20 plus, depending on how big your audience is, but like 20 plus people just looking at you and just waiting, for your answers and stuff. Um, and then YouTube, it's like depending on, how they go about it, they can edit the video and stuff and just chop out whatever. But when you're in front of like a live audience of people, it's like what you say is what you say. You can't really like take it back or edit it out. So it could be a little bit more intimidating.
Okay. Because they don't get much time when it comes to the convention. It's really, really.
Hmm.
No. 33. What is awkward when you have to say those lines in My Dear Friend Nokotan?
There I think the most awkward thing in general in that was episode 3 having to do the Koshitan song that she wrote for herself or wrote about herself because it was when I went in for that session, and I say went in, I walked into my closet that is a booth. They were like, okay, you're gonna sing a song today. And I'm like, okay, so I assumed it was the Shika Noko 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 Kosh Dan Dan. I thought it was gonna be that. And I'm like, I'm familiar with that. I know that. Then they're like, oh no, she has like a song that she wrote for herself. And I'm like, okay. So then they start playing it for me. And it was a lot to because it's not like a short song, like it's a good minute something, and there's a lot of words in it, and it was just having to kind of because the character her like Koshitan is kind of living out just her she's a teenager, so she's like performing in a room by herself, except she's performing in front of a deer. So I had to kind of channel that inner like teenage, I'm singing to myself in my bedroom, but I also know that like two people are listening to me and they're just like, all right, let's redo that one because, we missed a word or we need to sync it better. So that was probably like the most embarrassing part to do.
Oh, you
Yeah.
sing really good, honey. You really do. Okay. Let me see. Let's see. Give me just a second.
Mhm.
Did you know that the song was based on a Bully Maguire reference?
I funny enough, I did not know until after it came out because my friend Megan Aldridge, who voices Neko Yamada in the show, uh, she was like, "Oh yeah, she did the Bully Maguire," and I'm like, "What does that mean?" And she's like, "You don't know what that means?" And then she showed me the reference, and then um, that same day, I was just seeing a bunch of memes of it, and I'm like, "Oh, I had no idea."
Yeah. So, yeah, that was an interesting one to see.
Hmm.
I put it on. Beautiful.
End up getting eaten. So it's the sorrowful melody that can't be ignored. Will wipe away your tears.
Oh, look, he's strong.
Listen, like to attention, folks. 3 minutes. 3 seconds enough. Delete. So don't underestimate me. And now, the fish. And that's on your face. Tiger's claws aren't soft. Do please tell me whenever you want to cry. Koshtian, Koshtian. Zoom, 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 cha, cha. Here comes the former delinquent Koshtian. I won't let you hear any more of it. Shame. No way. You supposed to not tell me to your mommy. Definitely a fun scene to do, but again, it was so unexpected that it caught me off guard. I'm like, oh, this is what we're doing today.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
Mhm.
What happened? You doing
And
a
there was
reference?
no like music or anything either, because that in the Japanese there's no music, so I just had to listen to Saki Fujita, the Japanese voice actress, sing it, and then just do my best to keep in time with her.
Awesome. 33. What would you like to remember for in the voice act community? What would you like your legacy to be?
My legacy to be, I would have to say, being somebody who's inspired other people who want to do it remotely. Because just from when my dear friend Nokotan came out, I had a handful of people say, it's an inspiration to see that there was an anime that was done fully remote and that it was a more, I guess, well known or like well heard of anime at the time. And just having people kind of look up to me and everybody else who was a part of it as we can do this. This is something that's possible because after, everybody started going back to work and stuff after COVID was, heavy on us. It everyone's kind of like, oh, so remote stuff is kind of going away, but it never really had to go away and it doesn't have to go away either. So I guess just being able to be that kind of beacon of hope and inspiration for other people to be able to do remote voice acting, that's kind of what I'd want my legacy to be.
Awesome. What's that? Question 34. Where does your inspiration come from?
My inspiration mostly came from, I would say, Mandy Moore voicing Rapunzel from Tangled. That would be like the first inspiration of voice acting because I love Rapunzel. She's my favorite Disney character ever. And just the joyfulness and again, Rapunzel herself goes through so many emotions in the movie and how Mandy Moore handled all of that, it was just like that movie always has me tearing up. It always has me crying. So just her having that effect on me is again the same kind of effect that I want to have on other people. And after that, I would say again for like the anime aspect, Erica Mendez and Christina V, because again, watching them as Gon and Killua in Hunter x Hunter, like they inspired me to kind of push my limits and realize that there's so many things you can do with voice acting. And then even after that, like just I guess anybody who does a lot of things in voice acting. And I mean, like, they don't just really do just video games or just anime. I look up to the people who, are all over the place, who will do commercials, who will do audiobooks, e-learning and stuff, because I think our voices can be used for all kinds of things and sometimes need to be used for, accessibility purposes. So anybody that's, really wanting to just kind of touch all those bases and be like, oh yeah, I've done voice stuff for this, and this, and it's like all these different genres. I think those people are really cool because they're like, I'm gonna use my voice. We're gonna use it and use it for everything.
All right. Question for has well, both this ones. Has someone ever confessed their feelings to a voice actor at a convention? If so, did they get emotional?
um, Not in like a romantic sense, but I've had people that have told me that I've inspired them in person at a convention, and it really does kind of strike me as a I didn't think I'd get to this. Not that I didn't think I'd get to this point, but it was always the dream to be at this point and to actually be there and have somebody tell you that you've inspired them and telling you in person. You're looking into their eyes while they're telling you. It's a whole different feeling than, just getting people on social media being like, "Hey, you inspire me, great job." But when you get that kind of heart to heart with somebody, it can feel very, it's very emotional because they're telling you something that you might not have really thought that you would ever hear from somebody. So it's a very wonderful feeling.
Yeah. Let's Oh, it's almost there.
Mhm.
All right, 36. Oh, you're gonna love this one. What does Koshi do every night before bed?
Every night before bed, she is the type to kiss all of her stuffed animals goodnight. She does have, from episode 2, it was revealed that she has stuffed animals, and she 100% is the type that would tuck them in and give them all a little kiss on their forehead and just be like, good night, good night, good night, and make sure none of them felt left out. So I think that's probably what she'd do every night.
I love that episode too. Right when she my privacy.
Yeah, like privacy.
Question 37. Yeah, boy, a bit awkward. Is Miss Koshi wearing a bra? Tough.
Well, you'd have to ask Nokotan that because for some reason she always knows what she's wearing.
Number 3. How many how many boys or girls in total has Miss Koshi dated?
Has 0. She
Mm-hmm.
has dated 0.
The reason for because boys or girls in total. What is the reason for their because all the shoujo manga got her thinking none of the boys or girls would take their relationship to the next level and her thought and her love. Hmm. Oh, they thought they'd be her soulmate. Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting on that one. I love. Question number: what is Miss Koshi's childhood secret?
Childhood secret? Oh, I mean, one of them is that she wants to be like an idol.
Yeah.
That's one of them. I mean, she might have other ones, but for sure she wants to be an idol even though it's not becoming of her.
Yeah. That's what I asked. Shikunoko said the idol part too.
Mhm.
I believe it was. Well, she went to bed until 8 until 10. That was
Yeah. Yeah.
so sad. Question 40. What is Koshidan's guilty pleasure?
Oh gosh, her guilty pleasure. She likes the like what was it? Like kids manga or something like that. Like she likes reading the yeah, I can't remember. I think it was like kids manga or something like that. One thing that was in the manga that was not in the anime yet, or if they do a season 2 for the anime, I would hope that they would put, but there's a scene in the manga where Nokotan, I think they're doing like their school fair or something, and Nokotan is like dressed as a fortune teller, and Koshtian is talking to her. And Nokotan reveals that Koshtian has in fact read all of One Piece in one night. So I would say maybe One Piece is one of her guilty pleasures too.
Yep. Question is, it's anime for children. It was.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Question 41. What is Koshiton's favorite food?
Oh gosh, her favorite food. Her favorite food. I can't remember. Did she say her favorite?
I think it was egg on a rice. That's what Shikanoko
Yeah.
says.
Yeah. Yeah.
One. This is question 42. How many noons does Shikanoko say in episode 2?
How many nuns she says in episode 2? Episode 2, I'm trying to think how much.
Your sister was attacking her.
I would say I'm gonna go 53. I have no idea.
Well, honest, I asked her and she said it was 20. And she was
Okay.
correct. Annoying.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I was surprised he was able to say all those noons so fast.
Yeah.
Question 43. What would you be doing instead if you weren't voice acting?
I would still be creating stuff for sure. I was doing a lot of cosplay for a while. I've slowed down a lot just because I've been busy with voice acting, but I'd probably go back more into cosplaying and then probably streaming more. But pretty much if I weren't voice acting, I would just be doing some kind of creative thing or like starting my own business and doing like crafts and stuff. I've just always been kind of like the entrepreneur type of person. I did go to college for about a year and a half to 2 years, and I started in marine biology, and then I switched to business, and then I dropped out, so I don't have a college degree to to fall back on anyways. So I think I'd just end up doing some crafty fun creative stuff.
Awesome. Okay. Question 44. What's it like voice? Well, I know you ever done manga dubs. Tell me, like, what's it like in the voice acting? Like
Oh,
anything difference?
for like manga dubs
Yeah.
versus
But
like
yeah, I've done that.
yeah, so
Oh, okay, I
there
didn't.
what was that?
No, I didn't know you did manga dubs too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was gonna.
I actually started out with doing some manga dubs. So
Oh,
it's it's definitely different because you're not given the voices, the original voices first because it's all just manga. So you're making up your own voices for it and you're making the little like effort sounds and all that and definitely because when you do anime, the whole show is already put together for you. So you already hear all the sound effects, the music, and all that. So when you're doing a manga dub, you're just doing the voices, and then everything is done post production. So you don't hear like the sound effects and stuff until when it's posted. So definitely a lot of kind of like figuring it out first.
that's what I love about the mangas. When those
Mm-hmm.
came out, when the COVID hit, we just needed some positive energy. And
Mm-hmm.
when it come the manga dubs and the anime, it was really good.
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Question 45. All right. I said this to Shikanoko. And it's like a sketch right here. So here's how I was gonna this is gonna be so awkward. Remember that one episode you did and you got that confession letter
Yes.
from the delinquents and Miss Shikanoko was so upset she didn't get her own?
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't a confession.
No.
So Miss well, do Miss Koshan. Miss Koshan, would you go on a date with me? And then you say, no, I will not go on date because you're not dear enough. In order to prove yourself, you must first fight Koshito. Well, then will you be my beloved dear, darling, and then our love is eternal. Or something. You don't mind?
Oh, sorry, what was that?
So basically, I wrote this down. It's like I'm confessing my feelings to you, and then I'm fighting Shikanoko,
Mhm.
basically, to myself that I'm dear for.
Oh gosh. I don't
You
know.
got two,
What was that?
you got two people fighting. You got Shikanoko and myself as a character back in the episode.
I mean, that's the thing is like you got to be dear enough for koshtian cuz she says that she doesn't like deer, but you got to be deer. In this world, it's not like you're strong enough or you're smart enough. You got to be deer enough. So, I'd say in the world, whoever's the most deer.
All right. 5. I think we're almost done. Almost.
Okay.
Put it like 6:45. I think.
Mhm.
Hopefully. You ever seen the Big Bang Theory?
A long time ago, yes.
The Star Wars episode?
I might have.
You might have.
Might have.
Maybe. 5 minutes. We'll hopefully complete. Halfway. Can you see it?
Yep.
I know. 5.
Take them off my lap. Something like a convention. Oh, right. Well, my friends and I couldn't get into Comic-Con this year, and I was trying to start my own convention. And I was going to ask if you would be a panelist. Why are you doing your face Comic-Con with me? Really? Of course. In San Diego, it's right across the border from my favorite city on earth, Tijuana.
How'd you like that one?
That was good. That was good.
Ordered the Chino, she loved it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was good.
These games.
Mm-hmm.
Beast now. Yep. I love his
Yeah.
back. Playing the Darth Vader character.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Sheldon couldn't go to the convention, so wanna bring the convention to him instead.
Right.
And it's just fun like that.
Yeah.
Well, I won't take too much of your time, and you have a good afternoon. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
let me see. Yes. You said fan mail?
What was that?
Fan mail?
Fan mail?
Yeah.
I don't have anything set up for fan mail.
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I can always accept digital stuff online, but I don't have anything for physical fan mail.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got this here, if you can see here.
Yeah.
This one I wanted you to have as a fan gift.
Aw. Thank
For
you.
allowing me to do the interview for you.
Mm-hmm.
I never gave anything to a voice actor.
Aw.
Yeah, I'm just trying something new because what you said about the whole social media, we need more positive. You know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's just going crazy with what's happening with the people in the world government.
Yeah.
Trying to make fun of. Just saying.
Yeah. If I ever open up something that's for physical mail, I'll be sure to post about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're away for now, and something I would like to say before you.
Mm-hmm.
A little awkward. So, in your coach time voice, and something I hope. Now remember, kids, there's a badass in us all when it comes to anime.
Wait, what? Say it again?
No, there's a badass in us all when it comes to anime. Just remember,
There's a
kids.
badass in us all when it comes to anime.
Hold on. Now just remember, kids, there's a badass in us all when it comes to anime.
All right. Just remember, kids, there's a badass in us all when it comes to anime.
Thank you. That's what I had Trina Hart say.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, there's something positive, kids need some positive anime stuff. You have yourself a good afternoon, Roy, and thank you for allowing me to interview.
Of course.
Be willing next Wednesday or after the end of October.
Let me look real quick.
All right, take your time.
I can do next Wednesday at the same time.
That's fine with me. That's cool.
All right. Thank you.
All right,
you too. Bye-bye.